take a look at subtracting fractions. And we got to point out a couple things. Before we start, Dave's on this vertical. And for much of our subtracting, when we're borrowing with whole numbers, this makes sense. This is how we set up our algorithm for subtraction. However, when we do fractions, we actually don't tend to write math vertically. We tend to write it horizontally. And there's a reason for this.
This one I'm supposed to work on. This one.
Ah.
I must have mixed it up.
Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do is the very first step is we're going to rewrite this horizontally. Okay, so I'll do a little like arrow here. It is the top one, 7 1/4, subtracted by the bottom one, 2 3/4. The reason we go about doing this, we'll say what's it equal to, is we want to line up denominators. We want to make sure our denominators are the same. In order to subtract or add any fractions, whether they're mixed, improper, regular, you must have a common denominator. That's really important. In fact, it's so important that I'm going to rewrite the exact same thing. Once we have a common denominator, our answer will also have that denominator. We already know a piece of the answer. The next thing we do is we don't really like to work with mixed fractions. You can, but I'll tell you that the algorithm or the process is actually harder. Okay. It's easier if we turn them into improper fractions, which is what you were talking about earlier, where you said you're going to take the denominator, you multiply it by this whole number here, and then you add what's on top. So we have 7 times 4. So let's say I do that on the side. 7 times 4, that gives me 28. And then I got to add that 1 that's in the numerator, 29. So when we rewrite this fraction, denominator stays the same, but our new numerator is 29. Okay. We do the same thing. We still have subtraction and we still have a denominator of 4, but same process. We take our 4, multiply by 2, and then we add the 3. So we can do that on the side too. 4 by 2, we go, and that gives us 8. And our numerator, we're going to add 3 to that, gives us 11. So our new numerator is 11. So now horizontally, whoops, I don't want that color. Horizontally, we have a denominator of 4. The only other piece is to do the subtraction with the two numerators. Those are the tops of the fractions. So the question is now saying, well, what is 29 subtract 11? Well, I can do that vertically because these are whole numbers, right? That's where we kind of run into this scenario. And I subtract those. I'll quickly find that I end up with 18. So now my numerator is 18. This is it. This is technically your answer. Now, does it say, the following mixed numbers, simplify your results if necessary? Sometimes they'll want you to switch back to a mixed fraction. There's nothing wrong with this answer. 18/4 is correct. That's a check mark. Okay? You could switch back to a mixed fraction. It's a whole nother process itself. So in terms of subtraction, think of that. That was our goal. We did it. If they do ask us to switch back, we have 18 divided by 4. We have to remember that actually means division this time.
Oh, so to switch back to a mix, you have to divide it?
Yeah.
Oh, because yeah.
That's right. So we would set up our long division, which we've probably done before. And the goal here is when we go to switch back, I'll write it again. 18/4 is equal to, denominator will stay the same. What we're about to find is a numerator, okay, which is going to be the value we get on top. And sorry, that's not the numerator. I apologize. That's the whole number. The numerator is the number here, and that will be whatever the remainder is. Okay, so this is a whole nother process if we're asked to do this. 4 goes into 18. I can do a little bit of my math on the side. 4 times 2 is 8. Times 3 is 12. Times 4 is 16. Times 5 is 20. 20 is too high. Okay, 4 times 4. 4 times 4 will give me 16. That's the one I'm going to work with. And then when I subtract, I get 2. So I have remainder 2. So what that means for us is this 4 is the whole number, okay, for our mixed fraction. And that remainder of 2 is the numerator. So it turns out that 18/4 is equal to 4 wholes and 2/4, which is technically a half. But that's the process to switch back. If they don't ask us to switch back, we don't have to. The improper fraction is a great way to go about this. 18/4, and then check, we're done for that idea.